Hello, Loy Machedo. Speaking to you from LoyMachedo.com, and I was Loy Machedo. Today the date is April 21st, 2016. Time right now is 12:15 in the afternoon. All right. I wanted to put up this video yesterday, but then I was not keeping too well. So anyway, I thought it's best I would put it up now. This thing about Conor McGregor's retirement and what's going on behind the scenes, why is Conor McGregor not taking part, the real truth. Now, this is what I've analyzed after reading all the MMA forums and blogs. Now, I think, this is what I think, okay, given the facts, that I've put together all the facts and have a look at them. Tell me what do you think. If you think I'm wrong, love to hear from you. Okay. Now you need to understand that Conor McGregor is an amazing promoter. He's absolutely the best promoter of all times. You have had Mike Tyson, you have had Floyd Mayweather, and now you have Conor McGregor. Even Chael Sonnen did not come as close to Conor McGregor as Conor McGregor is. He is very, very good at what he does. Absolutely amazing. Okay, and he has brought in big numbers. Now, even though Floyd Mayweather, retired, and Conor McGregor doesn't come as close to Floyd Mayweather, right now he is the big money spinner. Okay, have a look at the numbers. Okay, UFC 129 as of now holds the biggest, the gate in UFC history. The total gate was $12 million US dollars. This at UFC 129, which was this guy, what's his name, GSP versus Shields. This was the biggest gate in UFC history, which was $12,075,000. Okay, attendance was 55,724 people in the arena. It was like, wow, this is called a crowd. It was the biggest gate in UFC history. Now, that being number one, have a look at number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, UFC Conor McGregor's last 3 fights, they have taken place in Las Vegas, Nevada, and he holds the spot for the top 3 MMA gates in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Let's have a look. UFC 194, Aldo versus McGregor, earned around 10 million, 10,006,249. UFC 196, Conor McGregor versus Diaz, grossed in 8,100,000. That is approximate. UFC 189, McGregor versus Mendes, was 7,200,000. The 5th and 6th was Silva versus Sonnen, that is 6 million, and UFC 168, that is Silva versus Weidman. That is 6,200,000. Okay, so now just have a look at this. Now, Conor McGregor is right now the money spinner. There's nobody coming close. GSP is not there. So for the fact that that he is really bringing in the numbers, the question is, how much is UFC making? Okay, now let's break this down. UFC makes its money through pay-per-views. An average pay-per-view for UFC is, as per the Sports Business Journal, is 394,894. Okay, so roughly, let's say 400,000 pay-per-views. That is what UFC is getting. UFC 189, which was McGregor versus Mendes, clocked in at 825,000. That is absolutely double. UFC 194, which was Aldo versus McGregor, clocked in at 1.2 million, okay, pay-per-views. Have a look at 400,000, which is average, 1.2 million, okay? And UFC 196, Conor McGregor versus Diaz, clocked in at 1.3 million. So every stage, the pay-per-views are going more and more and more, okay? So that, now, just to give you a bit more on how much UFC is making, okay, let's get down to the specifics after the expenses. Now, on an average pay-per-view, that was 394,000. If you take $49.95, that is $50. Take it as $50 pay-per-view. That is what people pay. Splitting with the cable companies around 50 to 60%. So that's around $11 million for the UFC. Then if you add ticket sales, if you had closed circuit ads, you have sponsorship ads, you have TV licenses, you have merchandise, you have the Fox Sports prelims, and you have those, VIP encounters with the fans and whatever. That gives UFC $20 million. So for 394 pay-per-views, just the average, UFC makes $20 million US dollars. Okay, UFC. Now, UFC 196, if it made 1.3 million, that is after McGregor's peak right now, the pay-per-views itself, only the pay-per-views, just the pay-per-views, has made $35 million. That is much more than the entire split of what UFC made before, which is $20 million. And if you calculate all in all, everything thanks to McGregor, so where the average, what UFC made was $20 million US dollars, 20 million, because of McGregor, they made $60 million US dollars. So that is 3 times more the revenue thanks to Conor McGregor. So they are making $40 million US dollars extra by this one guy. Okay. Now, let's have a look at how much money Conor McGregor is making. UFC 189, that is McGregor versus Mendes, he made 2 to 4 million. Okay. Then UFC 194, which was Aldo versus McGregor, he renegotiated the contract and he got 5 to 8 million. Then Conor McGregor again, it seems, renegotiated the contract as per CNBC, and he said he would make potloads of money. And for McGregor versus Diaz, UFC 196, even though the disclosed purse was $1 million US dollars, he made a total of $10 million US dollars. Wow. Wow. So the question comes now, doesn't UFC have any expense? Okay, the expenses are production cost, advertising cost, marketing cost, paying salaries, talent cost, employee cost, which would be roughly 20 to 30% of the total pie. So even though UFC made 60 million, they would shell out, let's say, 10 million. And if they paid, again, another 10 million to Conor McGregor, they would still be left with 40 million. Wow. So 40 million is like net profit for the UFC just because of Conor McGregor. So, when you look at such numbers, don't you think that Conor McGregor can definitely, hold the UFC by its balls? Why not? Because he's making that kind of money. But here, I'll tell you, is where Conor McGregor can really not take the UFC for a ride. Now, where do I say? Why do I say this? See, you need to understand this, that the UFC, the owners, Zuffa company, the Fertitta brothers and Dana White, they have been in this business for such a long time. They are hardcore gamblers. You need to understand, from the days when Dana White was managing Randy Couture or Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz was, he was the most difficult employee for Dana White to manage. Okay, now they have managed all these crazy guys. They are hardcore gamblers. They have had people who tried to sue them, like Chung Lee and everyone else. They tried to sue them, but they were not successful. Even now, they are not successful. Even Frank Shamrock, or what's his name, his brother, the most dangerous man alive, the other Shamrock. Wait, let me give you the most dangerous man alive. Let me get that name. Shamrock. Okay, Shamrock. What's his name? UFC fighter. UFC. I got Shamrock's UFC. Ken Shamrock and Frank Shamrock. Okay, sorry. Okay. So these guys, okay, they tried to play around with the UFC. They were not successful. They really went. Now, if you actually look at this, they have 340 employees, 500 fighters. They have one show per week. They're dealing with Fox Sports Network. They're dealing with so many of these multinational companies. I'm sure they have a world-class legal team. Now, maybe Conor McGregor can take UFC and push it, for the ride for some time. But trust me, UFC is a giant juggernaut. They know for a fact they'll always get talent. They're always on the lookout for more talent. So for Conor McGregor, he can make money now. And the money that he can make is only for a limited period of time. There is a short span, the short window, after which he will have wear and tear, and eventually he will lose. So if he's not careful, he will suffer in the end. So what I suggest is, you can't fight an entire organization. You cannot fight an entire system. Conor McGregor is good at bringing in the numbers, but I think it would be smart of him to, work with the UFC and make things happen. Yes, UFC is very smart. It exploits people and tries to make maximum amount of money. But I think Conor McGregor, if he keeps this, very soon things will not be very good for him. So I just feel that Conor McGregor, in hindsight, when I look at it completely, he is a money-making machine. He's a goose that lays golden eggs for the UFC. The UFC is very profitable thanks to him. However, I just feel that Conor McGregor will be on the losing end. He'll have much more to lose than the UFC, and UFC definitely will try to make its money maximum as much as it can. So if he, extends his hand and tries to make it a win-win, it's best for everyone. And if he doesn't, I think he would be the one who would be more on the losing end than UFC. So this is Loy from LoyMachedo.com, and who's LoyMachedo.com, sharing with you his views for Conor McGregor and the UFC. Let me know what you think. Love to hear from you. Goodbye for now.